Greetings world. We are anonymous. It has come to anonymous entity's attention that a murder in New Hampshire now has ties to drug cartel in Lee County, Florida, and Sheriff Mike Scott on the 20th Judicial Circuit Courts. Dean Smoronk, a well-known drug dealer and manufacturer, was arrested in Sumter County, South Carolina with his now deceased girlfriend Christine Sullivan. Sullivan and Jenna Pellegrini were found stabbed to death in Smoronk's home on Sunday morning approximately 3 a.m. January 29, 2017. These horrendous acts of violence stem right to Lee County, Florida Sheriff Mike Scott and the drug cartel. Sullivan, a well-known supporter of the music industry and great photographer in Lee County, Florida, was very loved and admired for her caring ways. Sullivan simply made some bad decisions by getting caught up in the world of drugs. Smoronk and Sullivan's serious arrest in South Carolina on February 19, 2014, and while traveling in between his Cape Coral, Florida and his New Hampshire home. They both had $1 million bond each. While they sat incarcerated for some time, it is unknown what the resolution to this very serious arrest actually was. A substantial amount of drugs were found, and with bomb-making material and over $12,000 in cash. Many news sources stated that more charges were going to be placed upon them. Lee County, Florida Sheriff Mike Scott was exposed by the Fort Myers News Press several years ago, with his close friendship to Richard Spence, who admitted to laundering drugs. Federal officials stated in the New York Times that they formed one of the biggest drug money laundering operations the authorities have ever uncovered in New York, shipping more than $100 million from New York, Miami, Houston, Los Angeles and other cities, as well as Canada and Europe, to the world headquarters of the cocaine business in Cali, Colombia. Many lawyers were involved in this very large drug operation with Richard Spence. Sheriff Mike Scott has been dubbed the Kingpin by FBI sources, has been involved in many cover-ups and scandalous situations over the years. He has escaped without and reprimand by high government officials. June of 2014, Smoronk and Sullivan were miraculously out of jail and traveling back and forth from Florida to New Hampshire. The charges they received would not allow any normal person to travel from state to state. The FBI and the Obama administration was very compromised, and Lee County, Florida is one of the most corrupt areas in the United States. A very large percentage of the federal prosecutors here were former state prosecutors in this very connected area. This area is secured by the drug cartel. Glades County, Florida is also part of the 20th Circuit Courts, in which the sheriff's office is under federal investigation due to being opened up by the Miami Herald in late 2015 for laundering over $71 million. Enzo Vincenzi bought a hotel in Lee County, Florida, and it was conned out of him and stolen by the local government officials because they were operating illegal activity out of it and officials were being paid off. After 5 years, 3 judges and going through 6 attorneys, Enzo received this property back. A month prior to this property given back, Judge Shira Weinsit, who helped steal the property with the help of Sheriff Mike Scott and the state attorney, she resigned. June of 2014, Smoronk was attempting to set Enzo Vincenzi up and start running drugs out of the Sabel Oasis Inn. This was immediately caught by Enzo, and his people were kicked out of the property. Due to this serious issue that federal authorities are highly aware of and took no action. Shortly after Enzo received his property back in September of 2013, he was informed that a hit was placed out on him. The Lee County Sheriff's Office wired someone up and it was admitted. No action was taken on this matter. Convicted Cali cartel Richard Spence also donated and helped with former Governor Charlie Crist's campaign. Lee County, Florida Sheriff Mike Scott and public officials in the 20th Circuit Courts are guilty of these horrendous murders. Anonymous now questions the Sumter County government as to what happened to the charges that took place on February 19, 2014. Christine Sullivan and Jenna Pellegrini's would still be living if a deal by federal authorities was not made to save the operations in Southwest Florida from being exposed. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We are anonymous. Expect us.